Hello everybody, welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and today's class is part of my little series on grammar. It's called Getting a Grip on Grammar Gripes, and it's just focusing on some of those really tricky pieces of grammar that you can sometimes get stuck with. No matter how long you've been studying English, you still can't quite get it right. So today's lesson is focusing on some prepositions, particularly the prepositions that seem to sort of cause the most problems. So we're going to look at in, to, of, and on. But you are welcome to ask questions about other prepositions. It's sort of a bit of an open class today, where we'll be discussing these prepositions, practicing them with examples, and you are free to ask any questions about them. So we'll be using our speaking as a kind of vehicle to practice prepositions. Bring your questions along. Have a think about what those prepositions that you always seem to get stuck on, and we'll use this class to practice a little bit today. So I just want to point out that there are some useful web pages that you can access, which you might want to when you have a spare moment on Verbling. I'm going to paste those into the chat box so that you can see them. There are two there. The first one is my Facebook page, and the second one is my Verbling teacher page. So all of the teachers have these pages. If you're interested in accessing them, just check out the teacher pages. That is where you'll find all the information you need about a particular teacher on Verbling, whether they be somebody who teaches classes, like me, or a teacher who teaches private lessons. You can see the calendars. So if you're interested in a private tutoring session, take a look at the calendar. You'll find that on the Verbling teacher page. If you like joining classes, you can also find the upcoming classes, and if you want to plan ahead, you can see the schedule of the teacher and work out which classes you'd like to take ahead of time. So if you click on the blue follow button, then you'll receive automatic notifications of those. And you can also write us a message. So you get lots of useful stuff if you want to take a look at those pages. As I said before, this is a kind of a grammar class. But what I like to think of is a bit of a free grammar class. Can't speak today. We're going to be looking at prepositions. I've chosen a few that I feel sort of a lot of students have a problem with, and we're going to be looking at those. But you are welcome to ask about other prepositions, and we'll practice them all today along with some speaking. So do come along in and join us if you want to just have a bit of preposition practice, and if you can say that, then it's a good warm-up because it's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, who do we have in class today to talk about prepositions? Let's see. First of all, I think Marcio was here first. Hello, Marcio.
Yeah. Hi,
welcome.
Teacher. Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Which part?
Northeast.
Okay, very specific. Are you from a city or the countryside?
Could you repeat, please?
Are you from a city or are you from the countryside, like a farm or something else?
No, in the city.
All right, very good. And tell me, why are you studying English?
Because I need to my work.
Okay, what's your work?
I work in a company that works with clean energy, like wind energy.
Okay, very good. I'm a big supporter of clean energy. Yeah. Well, welcome to the class. It's great to meet you, Marcio.
My pleasure.
All right, who else do we have here? We have Hernan. Hernan, how do I say your name?
Hernan.
Hernan. Have I met you before? I believe I have.
Please, I can't hear you. Please, can tell me again?
Ah, sorry. Have we met, Hernan? Have you been in one of my classes before?
No, it's my first time in your class.
All right. Well, it's lovely to meet you in that case.
Me too. Thank you.
Welcome. Tell me, Hernan, which country are you from?
I'm from Chile.
Okay, which part of Chile?
Valparaíso is the central area in the Chile.
All right, so you can go to north or south because you're right in the middle.
In the middle. In the middle.
Okay, well, it's Hernan, it's good to have you in the class. And tell me, why are you studying English? Is it for your job?
Because I need to trip to USA for my work.
Okay,
Uh,
very good.
in November.
In November, did you
In
say?
November, sí, yes.
Okay, well, you've still got like 2 months, so keep on studying, and you'll have a great trip, I'm sure.
It's, I think it's a little time for improve my English. By
Absolutely. It's a little time, but you can make a lot of progress in 2 months if you're consistent.
I hope.
Absolutely, I'm sure. Okay, who else do we have here? We have Carolina. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you, Carolina. We haven't met before, have we?
No, it's my first class with you.
Well, it's lovely to meet you. What country are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Okay. And do you live in the capital or somewhere else?
Yeah, in the capital, in Bogota.
And do you like living there? Is it a good place to live?
Yeah, it's a good place, but the traffic is horrible, but it's okay.
All right. All right. So there's always something bad about somewhere as well as something good. So I guess the traffic is one of the downsides. All right. So Carolina, how come you're studying English? What's your goal?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Sure. What's the reason for you studying English?
Okay, because I need to learn for my job. I am a civil engineer, and I have possibilities to work in United States.
Uh-huh.
Because my boyfriend is from United States, and now because I like it.
Well, because you like it. That's a great reason.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And if your boyfriend's from the United States, then you have the perfect practicing partner.
Yeah.
All right, well, good to meet you. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Carlos, welcome back.
Hi, teacher. I'm back.
Okay, Carlos, tell me about prepositions. What do you find difficult about them? What's the problem with them in English? Give me the student perspective.
Oh, definitely one of the most confusing issues that we English learners have in the process of learning.
Why are they so confusing, do you think?
It's not so confusing. You need a lot of practice, a lot of reading to to accustom. You would say accustom. You need to hear a lot to learn how to combine the proper preposition with the.
Absolutely. Okay, a good insight. Sometimes, it's really good to have a clear perspective as a teacher, because it's easy to see what mistakes students make, but sometimes it's difficult to see the reason why or the real specific problem. And I know that prepositions are difficult for many reasons. I just want to get Raphael's perspective. Welcome, Raphael.
Thank you, teacher.
Tell me about prepositions. What's your experience of them?
Not so good. I hate them with all my heart. But
well, at least you're clear.
Yes.
Why do you hate them so much?
Because unfortunately we, as a foreign students, we try to translate the sentence, the statements. We try to speak English as we speak Portuguese or speak our native language. So we are we have so many language addictions, and the most difficult thing is to memorize these new rules of prepositions. Either with names or verbs, they are different. They have particular situations, they have particular structures, and it's hard to memorize all of them. And it's really annoying when you are talking and you realize you have mispronounced some statement due to the preposition. And it's really awful, awkward for me at least.
Okay. That's good to know. Very well explained. What I'm going to start off by doing is just sort of my general advice for you about prepositions. So we are going to talk about them in particular in a moment, and we're going to practice because I think one of the most problematic things is that, as you said, Raphael, one of the most problematic things is that often students try to translate from their own language. So my first piece of advice for you is to avoid that at all costs. Try to never do it. The fact that you guys are in this class and are already intermediate or advanced means that you should not need to ever do this, and it can be a habit that you almost are unconscious of. So the first tip is try to not translate, okay? Because this is one of the most sort of difficult things to overcome, maybe, and maybe one of the things that prevents you the most from actually being able to speak English naturally. Now, the problem with prepositions is sort of two things in English. One is that there are so many of them, and they're very confusing, and the rules are not clear. And two is that they're often related as well to phrasal verbs, which is another one of those great things about English that I'm sure you guys love. So my first tip is try not to translate. When you're speaking, this is difficult, but what the best way to deal with this, I feel myself, is to consciously decide, okay, maybe for the next month or the next week or the next 2 weeks, I'm going to focus on prepositions and I'm really going to try to overcome this problem that I have. When you are exposed to native English, that means when you're reading something, when you're listening to something on the radio, when you're watching a TV program or a movie, try to actively engage in what you're doing. So there are many ways that you can use these resources to improve your English, and you might want to practice your listening or whatever. But what I do suggest is at some point, when you do have a particular issue with grammar, that you actively use these resources to help you. So the way that I would recommend you do this is to, whichever way works best for you, take a notepad and a pen. When I say actively, I mean that you are concentrating on what the person is saying or what you are reading, and you are noticing the prepositions. What do those people say, and how do they say it? Because often this isn't something that you would do naturally. You're always looking for the meaning. But what I want you to do is to focus not on the meaning so much as the way that people express themselves in English if they're native speakers. Now, it's really important that you get native speakers because otherwise you're going to get a false sense of what's true. So take a notepad and pen, and every time a preposition comes up, think about it for a moment. Think, okay, what did they say? What are they explaining, and how did they use that? Now, it seems like a bit of a nightmare of a task, but actually this does help immensely, because what it does is it gives you some language that you can then use yourself so that you don't have to translate. So if you come across a phrase and you think, that's what a native speaker said, try and use it when you talk, because really language is all about sort of copying, basically, and it really helps. So my second tip is to actively listen or read or engage with prepositions. This sounds so boring, I know, when native speakers use them. And take a notepad and pen and write these things down when you hear them. You don't have to get every single one. Try and get 5 or 10, and then try and use those yourself. And this works with every single grammar point you can imagine. So if you want to practice the conditional, do the same thing. You'll be surprised at how often all these grammar points reveal themselves in actual language. Okay. So that's my second tip for you. Those are my main tips, guys. This is the way to try and overcome these problems. Try not to translate. Raphael pointed that out already. Try to actively engage with native language and then use it yourself. Okay, so what we're going to look at first are the two prepositions in and to. So what I want to get from you guys is just any feedback. When do we use the word in? What does it mean? How do we use it? Can you give me an example? Carolina.
You can use in what you are referred to as a preposition of time when you refer to months.
Yep.
Yeah, and seasons.
Okay.
And I don't know, in parts of the day.
Okay.
And when you are using in for preposition of place, is when you are talking about something that is inside of something or inside some place.
Very good. That was a beautiful explanation. Thank you. Okay. So I've typed those little points in the chat box. You're absolutely right, Carolina. So you can use them with months or seasons. In January, in summer. A part of the day, in the morning. A place, in London, in Colombia. Excellent. Does anyone want to add anything to that? Is there something Carolina has missed out that you feel should be added? Anybody? Nope. All right, excellent. Now, I just want to point out what I am going to focus on in this lesson is the most common ways that these are misused. We're not going to take the lesson and go over every single usage that you can use for in, but I'm going to bring in some points that sometimes may be confusing. One of those is time. And this is something that people get a lot of confusion around. Quite often native speakers will use the word after, which is totally incorrect. We can understand you, but it's one of those things that really annoys me because it's not the way a native speaker would say it, and it's quite simple. So if you're talking about some time in the future, an amount of time, to say from now until that point, we use the word in. So let me give you an example. In half an hour's time, I'll still be teaching this class. Or in 2 months, I'll be taking the English exam. What you're saying is from the point now, and then you're going to tell me an amount of time into the future, that's when you use in, not after. So I'm just going to point that out as a first big mistake. What we're going to do in a moment is I'm going to get you to make up some sentences using the preposition in. So have a little think about it, and I'll just say hi to Elena.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
Hello. I'm well, thank you. Elena, how are you?
I'm fine too, thank you.
Good. Welcome to the class. We're just discussing prepositions.
Right.
And the first one is in, okay? So I'm bringing in a few different problems that some students have with in. The first of which is talking about time. Caroline has already mentioned some of the common ways that we use this preposition. Okay, another couple of ways that we get confused with the word in. Okay, I'm going to give you some sentences, and I want you to tell me which one is correct. So I'm going to do a screen share for this, just one moment. Have a think about these ways of using in, guys. And what I would like you to do is try and push yourself a little bit today. Use a sentence that you're not 100% sure about, because that's the best way to learn something new. Okay. So let me give you 2 sentences. Let me do my screen share. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, have a read of these sentences. Which one is correct? Number 1 or number 2?
1.
Sorry, didn't catch that. Who was that, Marcio?
I think number 1.
Yep, absolutely. When we're talking about lessons, a course, something we're learning, which is something that comes up quite a bit with students, we use the preposition in. Okay, lessons in a language, a course in something. Okay, another one that we sometimes get confused about is to be interested in something. And this is a really handy phrase to use because it makes your language a little bit more interesting. It's better than saying I like. You can say I'm interested in philosophy, or I'm interested in going to see what that new play is like that's on at the theatre. Okay, the last thing I just want to point out is that when we're reading, the place where we're reading something, we use in as well. So I read this article in the newspaper the other day. Alright, so those are my sort of official problematical areas about the words in. So we're going to go through some sentences. I'd like you to pick. Yep, Raphael, go for it.
Just a little question. My first question about this proposition. I read this article in the newspaper. So one of my doubts is, this article is written in the newspaper. So when we refer to that, I think we, because there is a rule about physical contact with the surface. I think this newspaper is a piece of paper, and the paper, the article is written in the newspaper, so it's a physical contact. Yep. Why cannot use on instead of in this situation?
Very good question, Raphael. The problem with some parts of grammar is that actually there is no logical reason for what we do. However, the way to think about it, I guess, is it's not exactly the physical thing that you're reading. It's like the information. Yes, it's recorded on a newspaper, but the information itself is what you're interested in. Haha. So I suppose that might be why. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. But when we're talking about information, in some kind of physical object, a book, a newspaper, we always use in. It might also be the fact that you have to open something, and it's almost as if the information is inside. Because when we're talking about websites, for example, we don't say in, we say on. And that's maybe because it's on a screen. Very difficult to say. But it's the same with any kind of source of information that is physical.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, I would like you to make up a sentence. Try to push yourself a little bit. I want you to use the word in. You can use it any way you want. It doesn't have to be one of the ways we've mentioned so far in this class. So if you have a query about something else, go for it. I'm going to ask Hernan to go first, please. If he's there. No, perhaps not. All right, Carlos.
I'm here, but what's the question?
I would just like you to please make a sentence using in some way.
Okay. Using in. I will have a trip in December.
Very good. Excellent. So you use it for a month. Well done. Okay, that one's a nice and easy one. Carolina, your turn.
I
was the whole day in the office.
Very good. Or perhaps I spent the whole day in the office.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, Elena, your turn.
I really liked a sentence that I read in this book.
Excellent. Well done. Hernan?
I improve my English in my house.
Good. On Verbling, perhaps. Well done, Hernan. Good. Marcio?
Well, the new semester will start. And the new semester will start in April.
Very good. Excellent. Raphael, your turn.
There is a spider in the box.
Good. I hate spiders, but excellent sentence. All right, I just want to give you 2 phrasal verbs that come into my mind that use this preposition. And if you guys can think of any others, let me know. What do these 2 phrasal verbs mean? To come in and to break in.
To enter.
Very good. Thanks. And break in?
To invade.
Yes, excellent.
To check in.
Okay, to check in. Very good. What does the check in mean?
It's when you arrive. No, it's not to arrive. It's when you. Oh, you check in. You check in at a hotel when you check in at
Airport, right?
airport. Yeah.
Very good. Any others that you guys can think of? Okay. I just wanted to point these out because I think check-in is slightly easier in that there's not really another way of saying that. You have to check in at the airport or a hotel. However, to say come in is a lot more common and natural than to say to enter. So it's a really good one to use if you want to get more natural sounding English. Try to avoid saying to enter. Enter is very formal in English, and we don't really say it much. Another one springs to mind as we're talking about this. What does to get in mean?
To reach somewhere.
To reach somewhere? Not really.
Understand something?
Okay, to understand something is to, you can say to get something. Do you get it? Means do you understand it, but not to get in. This is quite
no?
It's the same as the same to come in.
Okay, yes, similar to come in. So you can use this in several ways. To get in could mean to enter, to get inside something, right? Get in the car. The other way that we often use it in English is to mean that we've succeeded at some kind of exam that means that we can enter. So you could say, I got into university. That means that you passed an exam and now you're able to go to university. Or I got into this really great school. Some kind of test that you took which allowed you to enter that place. And that's always something really useful to know as well. Okay, to break in is a great one. It means to invade, i.e. someone broke into your house. It means they entered without permission and probably robbed you. Okay? Alright guys, I think we've done enough with in. We're going to talk about to now. So who would like to give me an insight into this annoying English word? Elena, do you want to tell me, what do you know about the word to?
To is it's a preposition that is used a lot. With verbs, it marks the infinitive form.
Yep. Excellent. Anything else? Would anyone else like to add anything to that? When else do we use this word to?
It's also a destination.
Yeah.
When you talk about destinations.
Good. Excellent. Anyone else want to add anything? No? Okay. Right. Let me give you some common mistakes, or maybe just some useful phrases that use this word that you may not necessarily remember. All right, have a look at those 4 areas that we always use the word to. These are quite often misunderstood or misused. The first one, perhaps not. But I think that the problem here lies in other people's languages. And Nan, did you have a question? No? Okay. I believe that in several languages that possibly you guys speak, the verbs that are for explain or describe don't have this preposition. They don't have a preposition. So it's quite often difficult for you guys to remember to use it. But we can't explain somebody. If we're talking about who we're explaining something to, we can't miss out that preposition. And the same is with the listening and speaking. We can't listen something. We have to listen to something. We have to speak to somebody. So maybe just a refresher of those things in your mind, guys. And then one other thing that's just a really handy phrase that sometimes is not really apparent in your languages is to look forward to something. Can somebody explain what that actually means? Does anybody know? What does it mean if I say I'm really looking forward to going on holiday next month?
I really expect something.
Okay, yeah, so expect is one of those weird words that in another language, possibly Spanish, has different meanings. In English, what's the difference between expecting something and looking forward to something? Anyone want to have a try? Raphael says to give to. Is that your answer for looking forward to, Raphael?
No, it's just a question.
Okay, okay. Yes, you can give something to somebody. So, who is it that's receiving the gift is what you put after that, right?
You give to something. To give for is incorrect.
Yes, exactly. You give something to somebody.
Okay, thanks.
However, if I say to you, for example, Raphael, this is for you, then I'm giving you something, okay? So that might be where you get the confusion. If something is for somebody, then it means you're going to give it to them. It's a gift for my mother, for example. So I'm going to give it to her at Christmas. But you can use both of those prepositions when you're talking about gifts. Or not even gifts, it might be just something random. However, for is usually used with gifts. Some kind of offering. Like, this dinner, this is for you. Which one is mine? Oh, this one's for you, if I've cooked you dinner. And then I will give it to you. But it means you've got to be careful which verb you use, that's all.
Okay.
Alright, so back to looking forward to something. I think Carter's got close to it with expecting. but these are really different in English. So to expect something in English means that you think it's going to happen. You're quite sure it's going to happen.
To will.
To will.
You are willing something.
No. To expect something isn't really to do with whether you want it to happen or not. It's more like to do with a resignation. If you expect something will happen, you think it is likely. Okay?
So look forward sounds pretty much as I can't wait for something.
Exactly. Yep. That's much better. That's right. I can't wait for something. I'm excited about it. Something like that. Something good, basically. It has to be something good. Whereas expect could be anything. Could be something bad. I expect it's going to rain tomorrow. Means, you know, I think it's likely it's going to rain. But if I'm looking forward to it raining tomorrow, maybe I've got a new umbrella I want to use or something. All right, so take any of these usages of to, or something else that you might want to have a little try at, and give me a sentence using the preposition to. I'll ask Raphael first, and we'll go backwards this time.
Can I speak to you, please?
Excellent. If you ask me that, I will feel nervous because it sounds like you're going to tell me off. Maybe something your boss would say. Good usage, Raphael. Okay, Marcio?
Yeah. Let me see. Please send it back to me.
Good. Very good. So in that way, you're using it in the sense of direction or movement. Hernan?
Yes, I don't remember now. No, I don't remember.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute, okay? Elena?
The teacher wants us to create sentences.
Very good. Carolina?
I am going to go to Panama.
Very good. So you used it twice. First in a kind of verb way, and second in a directional way. Very good. Carlos?
Lisa talked to me yesterday.
Good. Excellent. Well done. And Nan, have you got a sentence that you want to try?
I work into research energy clean.
Okay, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat that for me?
I work to research energy clean energy.
Clean energy. I work to research clean energy?
Yes,
Yeah, that's good.
I say.
All right, perfect. So that's the infinitive usage. Well done. All right, we're going to get rid of this stuff now, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is also quite tricky sometimes, and that is of, the word of. So, have a look at it. All right, this is, give me your impressions. Who would like to tell me, when do we use this preposition?
I think it's used to indicate reference. Like, this is a picture of my family.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
It's also used to indicate an amount of number. Let me see. I drank 3 cups of milk.
Very good. Anything else?
Oh, I think that's it.
All right. Excellent. Well done. Great introduction. This is also one of those words that's used a lot in phrasal verbs. So it sometimes doesn't have a particularly obvious meaning itself. Sometimes, or a lot of the time, it's part of something else. Does anyone else want to add anything to what we've already got there? No? All right, I just want to first of all focus on times that we do not use the word of, okay? Because this can sometimes be strange. Again, related to your native languages. We don't use it after despite. We never say despite of, okay? We can, however, say in spite of. So that is okay. Make sure that you remember the difference between those. They mean the same thing. You can use one or the other to add a bit of variety to your speaking. All right. There's sometimes confusion again with the word most. So, for example.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yeah.
So, despite there is no preposition.
In spite, this one?
No, despite.
Yeah, so despite there is no preposition, you're right. Well, I'll give you a sentence as an example. Despite the rain, we went to the beach. Or, in spite of the rain, we went to the beach. So you're right, no preposition here. Get rid of that because it's a little bit too big. Alright, what was I talking about? Most restaurants. Most restaurants in London are expensive. Or, most of the restaurants in London are expensive. Both of these are okay. The thing to remember is that you have the noun restaurants, and if the noun comes straight after, then there's no of. And if you are going to say of, you also need to say the. So you can choose again. It's one of those annoying situations, but it's good to know that both of these are correct. So you can add variety to your English, but also understand native speakers. So you either put the noun straight there, or you add of and the, okay? Okay, any others? Okay, I want to talk about some phrasal verbs. Can anyone think of phrasal verbs that use the word of? I'm going to give you a couple. And feel free to add them into the chat box. Just trying to think of sort of the most common ones that you might be able to use straight away when you're talking. Okay. And would anyone like to add any to that list? And then we'll go through them. No? Alright, so let's quickly go through these phrasal verbs. What does it mean to run out of? Anyone know?
I think it's to finish something.
Yep, absolutely. Something is finished, is used up or finished. Because if you finish it, that's slightly different to running out of it. Running out of it means that you've used it up. There's no more left, okay? And it's the most common way to say this. So, oh, I've run out of milk. I'll have to go to the shop, okay? What about to take care of? This one's quite easy, I think.
Support.
Support? Yep. Or?
To protect.
Yeah, that's better. Really, it's to protect. Or another really common phrasal verb, to look after. Okay. We tend to use this one in the UK more. So, for example, when we talk about children, oh, I'll look after the children. In America, they'd probably more likely say, I'd take care of the children. But you can take care of other things. You can take care of a problem or a situation. And that's the same, to look after something. It means that you're going to take it under your protection. You're going to deal with it.
Teacher, we can use a watch on in the same meaning. Watch on.
Can you type that for me in the chat box, Carlos, please?
Watch on your head, watch on your feet.
What's on this?
Watch.
To watch on.
Watch on within.
To watch on. No. To watch on, no, Carlos. To watch out for, you can watch out for something, or you can simply watch, right? Which means the same as take care of. If I say to you, Carlos, can you watch the kids? That's the same as saying, can you take care of the kids, but not to watch on, okay?
Okay.
You can also say watch out for.
Watch out. I think it's a watch out.
Yeah, I think maybe you're thinking of watch out for.
No, definitely.
Alright, good question. What about to get rid of?
Replace,
remove. To avoid something.
Avoid?
Replace, no?
Replace, possibly, yeah, that's a bit closer. To get rid of something means that you're going to dispose of it.
To throw away.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I?
Yep.
Can I use to get free of something?
To get free of something. Usually, Raphael, we say I'm free of something after you've got rid of it. But to get free, no, not usually. What we would say is, I'm going to get rid of this job. And then after you've got rid of the job, you'd say, I'm free of this job. So I can put to be free of something.
Excuse me, teacher. We can use it for example. Oh, you must get rid of sugar.
Yeah. Yep, you can say you must get rid of sugar. That means stop eating it, right? Mostly, probably. To free yourself of something is probably more like it, Raphael. Because to be free of it is the state that you experience after having done this. And to free yourself of something is probably more similar to get rid of. Okay, last one. What's dropping out of something?
Is it the same as to run out of something?
No, actually.
No?
Get away, run away.
Okay, yeah, that's similar. To drop out, we usually use when we're talking about being part of like a community or a group or a class or something. School, exactly. So you can drop out. That means you stop attending.
Okay.
So if you dropped out of school, that's probably a bad thing because it means you stopped attending school when you should have been going. Alright, so time for sentences. Feel free to use any of these. Do we have questions?
No, can I have something? Huh?
Yep. Hello to Mohammed. Welcome to the class. What we're going to do, guys, is make up a sentence using the word of. To abandon. Oh, hello, Mohammed. Welcome to the class. We're just talking about the preposition of at the moment.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll ask Raphael first. Raphael, you've mentioned to abandon in reference to what?
Drop out.
To drop out of? No. To abandon, we'd say to drop, not to drop out of. If you drop something, that's when you abandon it. Okay, so sentences, guys. Unless anyone has any more questions, I'll ask Carlos first of all.
Maria dropped out of her course on university.
Her course at university, yeah, or in university?
At university.
Well done, Carlos. Very good. So she dropped out of, because past tense, right?
Dropped out. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, Carolina, your turn.
I got rid of my old dress.
You got rid. You got rid. Yeah. Ride is something else. So you got rid of your old dress. Very good. That sounds very natural. Good choice. Elena.
Do we have to use one of the phrasal verbs, or
No,
can
you
we
can
use
use
the
anything.
preposition? Okay. My husband is the love of my life.
Aww. Best sentence of the class.
Oh.
All right, and then?
I need to run out or drink something.
You need to run out of something?
Yes.
All right. That's grammatically okay. It just sounds a bit funny because usually running out of something is kind of annoying. So you wouldn't say that you need to do it. You'd say that it's happened to you and it's causing you a problem. So maybe I ran out of milk, or I really didn't need to run out of milk tonight because I just needed to make a cup of tea, something like that. Marcio.
Yeah. Hamilton dropped out the race at 2 laps.
I didn't catch that, Marcio. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Hamilton dropped out the race after 2 laps.
He dropped out of the race after 2 laps.
Yeah.
Don't forget the preposition of. But very good sentence. Well done. To drop out of a race, that's a great example. Well done. Mohammed, can you think of a sentence using of?
Which thing?
I just want you to use the preposition of in a sentence.
Okay. I want to get rid of smoking.
Okay, good example, but actually we wouldn't say that. We would say I want to quit smoking or stop smoking. You would get rid of a noun. So if you stop smoking, then you would get rid of your cigarettes, okay?
Okay.
Very good. And Raphael?
Can I say I'm running out of patience?
Yes, you can. You're running out of patience with prepositions.
Yes.
All right, we've got 5 minutes. Let's see if we can do like the world's quickest discussion of the preposition on. Who would like to make comments about the word on? When do we use it? Anybody?
I think I mentioned physical contact.
Yeah, good. Anything else?
Can also, I think in time, on time, I think.
On time. Yep. And dates, right? Days of the week.
Fully dates.
Yep. On Saturday. On May the 7th.
It's used to indicate a part of the body.
Okay, a part of the body. Can you give me an example?
She kissed me on my cheek.
Very good.
When you're on your knees.
Yeah. Anything else?
Before some verbs. Be.
Before what do you mean, Raphael? Can you give me an example?
They accused me of being selfish.
That is with of, and it was absolutely perfect, but we're on
Oh,
now.
yes, of course, yes.
Any others? No? Okay, there are lots of phrasal verbs that use this one. One that's quite often mistaken is to depend on. Depend on. It depends on whether or not I like English. It depends on my mother. We always use on with that one. Some other phrasal verbs, apart from to put on and to try on, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Can anyone think of any more phrasal verbs that use the word on?
Hang on.
Yeah, okay, very good. Set that one separately. Anything else?
Hold on.
Hold on.
To go on.
Very good. That's like the opposite, right? Okay. There are many, but these are some really, really common ones. So let's go through them. Hang on and hold on go together. If you're talking about one of the idiomatic senses, if I say to you hang on or hold on, what do I mean?
Wait.
Wait.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And then if I say to you go on, what do I mean?
Continue.
Go ahead.
Yep, very good. Go ahead is another one. Yep. Go ahead is more like giving permission. Go on is definitely for continue. All right, what about put on?
To wear?
Yep. To wear, but it's a stage, yeah, before that, right? If you put something on, then afterwards you'll be wearing it. To try on?
Check if something fits.
Very good. And these are really, really common ones that you'll find all the time. What about to turn on?
It's easy, but it's difficult to
Start something.
Plug
something.
to start. Yeah.
Yeah. To start something
To
up,
plug.
possibly.
To
Yeah.
plug something.
Plug
to switch
in.
the plug.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, what about the call on?
Call on.
I'm just going to call on my mum. What do I mean?
Phone? No.
Actually, no. Unfortunately not. That's just a call. If I say to call on my mum, I mean I'm actually going to go to her house.
Oh.
Okay? Go and visit somebody. In an informal way. It's not an official planned visit, okay? I'm going to call on my friends before I go to the supermarket. And what about check up on or just to check on? Anybody know?
Verify.
Verify. Yeah. See what the progress is. Alright guys, we've run out of time to do sentences. I'm sure you're all horribly disappointed about that. Well done for participating. I hope this helped you a little bit. If you do have any more questions about any of the prepositions from the class today, do go ahead, write me a message or post me something on Facebook and I'll get back to you. Great sentences from you all. Don't forget to keep using these, especially the ones that you're really sure about. And don't forget my tips from the beginning of class. If you really want to improve your prepositions, listen actively or read actively to what native speakers say and write, and it will help you. So good luck. Have a great evening if you're at that end of the day, and I hope to see you all again sometime soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Amy.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
Bye. See you.